In one of the poorest neighbourhoods in Caracas, these children gather every day to get food. It's the only proper meal they get. A charity that tries to deliver food across the city has set up next to their school. Only the children who attend class can eat here, and they can't take it outside. If they did, it would almost certainly be stolen. In Venezuela, these are probably amongst the luckiest. Malnutrition is common. The government's stated aid of feeding the poorest has, they say, completely failed. The underlying sense from people attending opposition rallies is that something has to give.
Are we near the end of Maduro now, do you think?
Yes, we're happy with that.
It's taking a long time, though.
Oh, yeah.
Britain and 7 European countries have now formally endorsed Juan Guaido as interim president here. Without that international spotlight on him, Guaido would almost certainly be locked up by now. Clearly blindsided by his opponent's sudden emergence, Nicolas Maduro is warning of civil war and chaos caused by the United States interference, and he's promising to fight on.
The world needs to know the White House has been taken over by an extremist. It's like the Ku Klux Klan arrived in the White House and Donald Trump is the head of the KKK. He's surrounded by a group of people they call the Venezuela team. Mike Pence, the Vice President, is the executive. John Bolton, the National Security Advisor. Mike Pompeo, Secretary of State. They call it the Venezuela Group. And they dedicate themselves daily, morning, noon and night, to conspire against Venezuela.
It feels like Venezuela is entering a critical week. Aid supplies promised by the United States to the opposition could provoke a serious confrontation. Nobody has a clue where that may lead. Stuart Ramsey, Sky News, Caracas.
I mean, one can only ask the question, if Stuart Ramsey wanted to present images of starving children, why didn't he go to where the starving children were? I mean, what sort of journalist would suggest that should those children take their plate of food out into the playground to eat it, that the ravenous kids outside would steal the food? I mean, it's just nonsense. All of those kids look perfectly well nourished. When he went into the middle of the crowd, nobody looked as if they were dying of starvation. Everybody looked quite well off and happy and all the rest of it, running around cheering and joking. And to suggest in some way that what's happening in Venezuela is a people's revolution is a nonsense, because Sky News, along with all the rest of the media, the impartial media, have ignored the fact that millions of people support Maduro. They don't want America in. Why would they want America in? Guaido has already started to make moves to demanding a loan from the IMF. I mean, why does Caracas need a loan off anybody? They've got they're worth billions. The British have stolen their gold. So why does he need to look for a loan from the IMF? The IMF are criminals. They're total criminals. They're owned by Rothschild. They're total criminals. The aim of the IMF is to privatize the world into the hands of the elite. That's what communism is. People just don't seem to understand that. Communism doesn't mean that the people control everything. The people, in the sense of communism, are the government, and they are the rich. And they want to own everything. They already do. I mean, there's nothing they don't own. Everywhere you look, shops in the high street are closing down because people prefer to buy on Amazon. And when people buy on Amazon, okay, right now it's good, isn't it? It's like when a big supermarket opens up. All the small shops close down. And then before you know where you are, the costs in the big supermarkets is exactly the same as it would have been in the small shops. There's no difference. I mean, for Sky News to present themselves as being in some way impartial is a joke.